YouTube. So I've been a bit naughty again. I bought myself a bass. Like not a Dury up here selly one or fixie one. I just bought myself a bass. Yeah. So I was watching this a couple of times in the last few days this week, basically on Facebook Marketplace. Kind of. Yeah, shouldn't I? Well, I shouldn't, but will I? Kind of thing. So this is a Fernandes. I've never had a Fernandes before. It says limited edition on it. Electric Sound Research Group. Yeah. So it's kind of box ticking a little bit. It is 80s. It's 1986. The serial number says 86, but it's in the 1987 catalogue, which you can find. Actually, it was sort of a Scott Grove video. He was talking about the Japanese vintage guitar site or whatever, and it's got all the catalogues in Japanese. So this is a PJS-50. It's a 32-inch scale, which I really like. If you've watched my videos before, you know the bass I use in the Black Sabbath band, which since I adjusted, you can't really read the font on it, can you? After the end, it seems to have disappeared for some reason. It's kind of into the murk. Yeah, so forgot what I was talking about. Yeah, so 1987 Japan. So it kind of fits into my it's 80s in Japanese. They're also really good, and the 32-inch scale thing. So in the Black Sabbath band, I'm using it for the C sharp parts. So basically one album is tuned to C sharp. So I'm using an Aria Pro, which actually is the same factor as this. I think this is a Matsumoku one as well. For the down tune stuff, and I really like that bass. It's like something to do with the 32-inch, 30-inch scale, like the EBO and stuff. It's a bit short. You have to be a bit careful with the E string. Whereas 32 just seems to be just perfect. So this might be my for using normal tuning. So this is me just trying to justify it to myself. Yeah. So PJ configuration. This bridge is cool. I like that. It's got brass saddles on it, like one of your high mass type bridges, just a top loader. Yeah. So volume, tone. It's a very. It's also it's got a straight headstock, which I kind of assumed it was going to be angled back. It doesn't look entirely dissimilar to my Aria Pro Rock device, the one with the two sets of PJ bass pickups in it. It's got the pointy head, but it's linked at an angle, and just. I'm still trying to justify the fact that I bought it for myself, but it was a good price, so I'm not complaining. But it's got a really turbo fast neck on it, which is different. It's very different to like a P-bass neck, even though it's kind of a P-bass. It doesn't really seem that much shorter, but see if you look at this gap here. So this is, assuming this is very much just a P-bass body. But looking at P-bass, the bridge goes right pretty much to the bottom of the guitar, whereas in this, it's kind of in a little bit. So there's 1 of your inches of length. So although it feels small, it's not really that much shorter. It's just there's maybe half an inch or an inch or something overall length that's smaller, but you've got another inch here missing, and just squeezes it down, so it kind of fits. So it's really nice. The neck on it kind of feels like a Stratocaster, to be honest. It's dead thin and fast, which I think was a 1987 thing. The downsides, the output jack I've fixed that now though. I've also the sponges, the rubber in below the pickups has, because it's 30 years old or plenty of years old. These pickups are just kind of mounted on rubber, and the rubber kind of compresses over years and then loses its rubberiness. So I've taken out the J-bass pickup and put a bit of foam in behind it just to give it a bit more bounce, so I can raise it up a little bit. Not done it with the P-bass pickup yet, which I'm going to do. I wish I'd done them both at the same time. I never really thought, because the jazz bass pickup was dead quiet, and I thought, right, took all the strings off, raised it up, tuned it up, and went, oh, that's fine. Oh, I could probably do the same with the bass pickup. And it's like the P-bass pickup was like, I can't be bothered. So I'll do that later. It needs to get a good clean. It's got. My main issue is the colour. I don't know if it's really showing you here. It's like, obviously it used to be white. If you actually look in the back, there used to be a sticker, so it used to be more like that colour. But unfortunately, unlike quite a lot of the other white old 80s guitars I've got, which went a kind of lovely golden, this has gone beige, and it's like, it just couldn't be really described as any other colour. That it's like a sort of chewing gummy, beigey, meh. It's also got somebody's name on it. It's got M Sato on it. Like, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but it's like, I think what's happened is someone's put their name on it in Letraset for 20 years, and then it's faded behind it, so there's a bit that's not faded where it's actually still going to, you know, it's one of those things that I don't know if I could really want to paint it or stuff like that. I think maybe I'm actually kind of grown to like the unbelievably horrible colour. It's like pretty much one of the last colours you would ever choose for a guitar, so it's like, that suits me quite nice. So I'll make some noise with it. So here's the P bass pickup, full tone. Jazz bass pickup. Not that I would ever really use the jazz bass pickup, it's nice having it there though. And there is a bit of an issue with the strings. The guy who sold it to me, he reduced the price of it because he got annoyed at it because he didn't buy short scale strings, he used normal strings, and they were snapping just on the fat E string right at the point there, and I tried to fix it, it could be done. So this is just an old string off a Westfield bass that I got last week, and it only had 3 strings on it because it was the nut was broken. So this is just one of the strings off that. It's pretty scabby and minging, but it's got the red stuff on it, so I think it's a Rotosound string, but it's really much louder than the other strings. So I wonder if these are old. Although you said they were new strings, I wonder if they're really cheap ones. So maybe I'll maybe treat myself to like a proper set of strings. Although I've been buying cheap strings. What are the ones I've been buying? Tico ones. I can see that the packet's sitting down there, and they seem pretty much all right. So I wonder if these are maybe even cheaper or something. I'm not really sure. It just seems the fact that I'm using an old string, which is manky and I don't know, 10 years old, something like that, and it seems to be louder and clearer. It's louder. Actually, looking at the P bass pickups, this one is sitting quite at an angle like that, where it's lower down. So I wonder if maybe it's just something inherent with the design of this bass, or maybe the pickups maybe. I don't know. How can I pick up a different, stronger poles on one side than the other? I wonder if the magnets come off the back of it or something. Have a look at it anyway. So I'm going to have a wee go with the T-cut on it. See if I can get it back to being a less beige. You can see that's quite a nice colour. That's a sort of magnolia, you know, creamy off-white. This is just grey. Yeah. So I'm going to try and do something. Any ideas? I noticed I was watching a thing. One of the random things I watch on YouTube. I don't really watch guitar channels. We're watching folk restoring old PCs. I don't know why. Somebody's just really enthusiastic about old PCs. It's like, and he's doing called Retro Bright. Whereas this guy, he kind of dumps it, and I think it's hydrogen peroxide. He kind of dunks the plastic casings in it and leaves it outside, covered in like in a bucket, covered in cling film and in sunlight, and somehow it brings back the white colour. So I wonder if something like that maybe. I kind of not really. I really want to. No, I don't really want to have the bass underwater for any amount of time. So maybe not that. But there must be some way of doing it. I'll probably actually just YouTube, have a look and see how to bring the colour back to your guitar. But it plays lovely, it really does. It's actually pretty good. It's getting a new output jack. The output jack was absolutely goosed when I got it, so I kind of, just to make it work, I stuck this string on it and I fidgeted with that. Yeah, but as I was saying there about the strings, I've never bought short scale strings. So I wonder if maybe these are just a bad batch of strings he had. That's like they snapped when you do that. Because I mean, I've seen them. I don't think I've ever bought them before. So they're more expensive than normal strings. So provided you don't have did I have a bass? I've heard of a bass that's got like different tuners it doesn't take. It struggles, but these tuners are fine. I'd imagine they're Goto. The whole thing will be Goto, and it'll be Goto bridge, and it'll probably Goto pickups as well. Not actually had the back of it yet to see what kind of electrics are in it. They work, so I left them. like somewhere between. Bill Buster's got a Jackson Minion. I'm not sure exactly what scale it is. I think it's quite short. I think it's maybe like a 25 or something. It's kind of on the way somewhere between the full size base and the Minion. So it's like smaller, but not hugely noticeable. You're just kind of playing it going, it seems a bit easier to play. The thing is that looking up actually looking at, I go back, probably not the best way to see it, but you can see it there. I'll put up the link to where to find this catalogue. It's got all the catalogues. There's actually see that's I can date this one, even though that's a 1987 catalogue. They didn't have this headstock in '86 in the '86 catalogue. There's a bigger one, this one here, which is basically the same as a PJ-65, which it doesn't have as cool a bridge. It doesn't have the brass saddles, but it's full scale and basically the same sort of thing. And there's some fantastic looking guitars in there. There's a few Telecasters you just look at and go, oh. And I kind of like this headstock. I don't know why. Although it seems a bit weird having the string tree seems to be a bit, and it's like the way that it's like the string goes right through the bit where it says limited edition. You kind of, it's not, I don't know, it just doesn't seem super well thought out. Does that make sense? The E string seems much louder than all the other ones. It's like a super strat, apart from it's a bass. Black Sabbath band. I think this will be great for the normal tunes. I think I'm going to have a look at I'm going to take it to bits and clean it anyway. The thing is, it's not dirty. It's not had the pure mega clean. You know, they take all the bits, take all the tuners off, and then you can really polish it up. I'm going to do that just to make it absolutely spanking, and then have a little bit of a think about whether I do something with the finish. Once I've taken all the parts off, I'll give it a shot with the T-cut and the polish and see if it brings it back a little bit, makes it a little bit less matte beige coloured. But interesting basses and interesting guitars. I'm going to be having to have a look at Fernandes now. I think they do have a little bit of I think like all factories do. I know Washburn and Aria Pro now, so I know when you see a Japanese one, and not just being snobby about it, the Japanese ones are much better than the Korean ones from that era anyway. I can kind of tell playing it. I thought originally it might be a Katushin one because it kind of looks like one, but it doesn't. I think it is a Matsumoku. Just because I've got that many of them, I can kind of go by feel a little bit. It's kind of funny how, although obviously the Japanese are like mad perfectionists, that they do have a slightly different. There is a difference in feel between like a Matsumoku, a Chushin, a Yamaki, and a Fujigen. They're all you know right up there. But there's wee things that just make it feel like it is, and this feels very like an Aria Pro. Like very, very much so. But I mean, horrendously unpopular, unfashionable. These. I mean, this was not expensive. This was the sort of price I would kind of almost be looking at a Buckfasty guitar type thing. But I'm not painting it. It's too beige and enjoyable. But I'm going to put obviously I'll clean it up. I'm going to polish the frets up. They're not. I mean, none of it's not dirty at all. It's just like when I took the pickup out, it was a bit minging inside it. And I like the idea of like you take the pickup out and then you totally scrub it so it's like brand new to get it as good as I possibly can. Possibly even brasso the brass blocks just to make them shiny. Although this time what I think I might try is I'm going to brasso them so they're super shiny, and then I'm going to lacquer them so they don't go dull again. And I'm going to use this as a wee test because there's only 4 of them. It's not that difficult to get them off. Whereas if I start doing it with one of like the Washburns or something, you know, most of them are guitars, so it's like take 6 strings off and all that. And I'm going to strip this down to bits. I'm also interested to see what's in behind the neck pocket and all these things, you know. See if there's any more views of what's going on. It doesn't actually say made in Japan on it, which is different. It's got a 1, 2, 3, 4, a 7-digit serial number, which apparently fits in with Matsumoku, my pal was saying, and it works in that way. And as far as I can tell, it's all original as well. There was something about this being bashed a bit, and that didn't bother me. That's you can't even see it because I put a strap on it. Yeah, so Fernandes now on the interesting meter. I will be looking at Fernandes and seeing what's going on. Again, I think I'm more likely to be getting the sort of really unfashionable looking ones because I know Fernandes did a lot of even in like that catalogue at this time they were doing a lot of Les Pauls, and well, not Les Pauls because Les Paul were actually Burney. Fernandes and Burney were the same company, and Fernandes were the sort of Fendery ones and the Burney were the sort of Gibsony ones, which is new to me. Also, was the thing about Burney. Yeah, it was a spelling mistake. It was actually meant to be bunny, as in a bunny rabbit. And whatever it was, the first batch came back Burney, and they went, oh, that might be better actually. We'll leave it as Burney because it's mental. So, rock on. See you on the live stream Sunday. I'll probably be playing this a little bit. I might have cleaned it up or maybe put new strings on it. Kind of my temptation is to play it. It's like a lot of these guitars, it's like, especially when you're getting them cheap off you know, like Facebook Marketplace or whatever, it's not been played. The reason someone's selling it is because I've not played it for ages, and when it's get to guitar this age, it's possibly not been played a lot in the last decade sort of thing. You know, it's spent its time in a gig bag somewhere or in below a bed, so it's the more I play it, the more it's coming alive again. And the thing is, it's already pretty good, but I reckon in a week's time after I've been giving this a bit more of a play, I mean, the low E sounds fantastic. The rest of it just put. I wonder if the strings that are on it are maybe or the 3 strings, which are apparently new, are like a different type. You know, are they like nickel or stainless steel or something? That's maybe when you've got 3 of the nickel ones and then put one stainless steel one on, it's louder or something like that. Might be what's going on here. It's not quite set up. I mean, it's actually playing really well. I've not adjusted any of the action or anything like that. It seems to be just about right. Intonation sounds good. So I dare say, I mean, it's like, I know it's all, people always say this about short scale, like the Squire Bronco and stuff like that. It's like, if you're a guitarist who wants to play bass, you want, you know, get the short scale one. I think that's there's probably a certain amount of truth in that. It definitely does seem a bit less bassy than a P bass. A bit more of a guitar. It's kind of making me want to play a bit more bendy and a bit more higher up the neck and stuff. But it does sound great. Talk for 20 minutes. Rock on. See you in the Sunday live stream. I might put this out tonight. Did I put this out tonight or to put this out tomorrow night? Find out. Rock on. And then I put the cursors over on the other screen. Rock on.